Hey.
Hey, welcome to Never Dull Moment. You guys love it when we sharpen stuff, so let's sharpen something. Today we're going to sharpen something on something a little different. We're going to use some natural, God made it, Arkansas stones. Today is going to be an Arkansas stone review. We are going to talk about the Arkansas stones, the differences, and we're going to use them and tell you what we think about them. So today, let's get into the Arkansas stones, the differences, and where they're from in Arkansas. So the majority of the stones you're going to find are from the Washita Mountain area of Arkansas. And when you see these stones, they are quarried. They are cut usually to dimensions that you even can request on a website. And if they are from that area, you're going to find that they're 99% pure silica. I mean, they are hard and slick, and I have found through experimentation, typically I like use them for more finishing, pre-finishers and finishers. And today we also have with us from a different region of Arkansas, the Ozark Mountain area. We have some coarser stones that were sent to us by John Coe. John is in the business. He's a little bit more retired from it than he has been, but he is really somewhat of a specialist, and we've been fortunate to have lots of conversations with him on the phone and through emails and so on. So what you're going to see is a progression of two different things. We have these very coarse stones that John sent us. This one's white sandstone, and then we have one that is mostly made of limestone. John is a simple person. I love the fact that he just writes his name and everything on there, and he lets us know what we have. So we've got them numbered. We've got information on there. But the two I have from John, he cut for us. They weren't just laying around. He cut them for us, so we're super excited that happened. And they're coarser. And then over here, we had ordered some different ones that come in a beautiful, nice little box. There are many different purveyors of the Arkansas stones. These are from Tay Tools. I do want to recognize a different website I didn't use. Dan's Whetstones is a very informative website. He is very involved in forums. I didn't try to go around him. You're shopping, try to save $1. So we're going to use, since I do buy all these, like people don't send everything for free, in case you guys didn't know, I'm going to be showing you these different stones. I'll take one of the boxes off real quick for my wife to kind of let you see. These dimensions were one of, probably 10 different choices. So we went with like a 2-inch wide, maybe 8 inches long kind of a thing. You can get them wider, longer, I believe, thinner. So those were the dimensions that we chose. And we're going to use an extremely large knife today to show you that that you should be able to sharpen it on those. So what do we got going on? We also have these two containers that John sent us. This is called SICK, silicone carbide powder. I'm not going to open it and make a mess of like almost glitter in the house. That would be a nuisance.
It does look that way.
So we have 120 grit and 180 grit. If you use normal sandpaper,
I think it's just 80.
I meant to say 80. If I didn't say 80, I'm sorry. 80 grit, 120 grit. If you normally get sandpaper, it's usually made of silicone carbide. What you would do with this SICK powder is you would actually get a flat plate like glass or something that you know is extremely flat, sprinkle it on, add a little water to emulsify slightly, and then put your whetstone on the SICK. And the silicone carbide will help to remove any impurities on the stone, as well to lap it to make sure that it's flat. And you can do a progression going from coarser to 80 to 20. You can even change the grit a little bit by roughening the edge with some of the SICK. So we're not doing that. This was done for us when these stones were sent to us. So we're excited to use them today. We're going to use the sandstone, limestone as the coarse grit stone to set the bevel on the knife. Then we're going to go over to the finishing, pre-finisher and finisher stones to finish off the knife. The knife that we're using, this Kasuki Manaka Super Blue Steel. It is a Zahocho knife, designed knife with Kasuki Manaka. It is a very large knife. So we will see that you're able to handle this size of a knife with these whetstones. And to do that, we are going to have to dull the knife, which is always, a fun favorite here on the show. This isn't a battle today, so I don't really have to count it. I just have to make sure it's dull. We will definitely make sure it's dull so there's no tomfoolery. What do you think, Life? You think it's dull?
Well, I think it's worth a shot.
So we're going to keep that around, and we're looking for something that improves on that. So,
I hope so, gee.
it's a really nice knife we just messed up. So we're going to start with the core stones, and I've had a lot of advice on this. So in the forums, what you tend to see is everyone has their own lubrication method. For the finisher type stones, and when you see them, they'll be referred to as hard, ultra fine, extra fine, soft. You have a tendency for the metal off the knife to build up, and so to try to get the stones not to load, people tend to do everything from kerosene to mineral oil, which is very popular. I know Dan's Whetstone has its own lubricant, which is basically probably mineral oil based. I did see some people use like a soap and water combination, that the soap itself becomes a type of lubricant. And I read that some people were using gunny shines as well as some other gunny juice products. So we have some gunny shines today, as well as water. So John Coe had informed us that for his stones to stay coarser, he would like me to use water for that. So on the beginning, I'm going to be doing a water-based water on the whetstone itself to set the bevel. And then we're going to move over to the finishers with something that's a little bit more of a lubricant, not oil, but should really help to prevent buildup. So when I read the side of these, we've got coarse. The other one says coarse. It doesn't tell me that one's more coarse than the other. When I feel them both, it's hard for me to tell. So we're going to try one of them. I don't know which one's coarser than the other than to touch. So let's get that secure. So what's nice is something as simple as this.
Yeah,
you don't need
this
to.
Setup, yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple setup. Okay, we just got one of those Naniwa sink bridges. We did put a sticky mat below the towel so it doesn't slide.
See, grip.
And we're just going to go just water on here. The good thing about the coarseness is you can hear some. And it definitely does not have the synthetic abrasive sound. I don't know how aggressive this is because I don't have a grit idea
Right, plus that's
for the core stone. So let's go ahead and check and see. Okay, I have like a nice bevel everywhere but the heel and the tip. My wife is looking. It has a wetness to it. It's not completely absorbed all the water. So that's nice. I haven't had to continue spraying it. I believe she can probably see video of a little bit of a slurry building up.
Mm-hmm.
So it is obviously cutting. Again, this is super blue. It shouldn't be too much work for the super blue. It's one of my favorite ones to sharpen. Gets a great edge. The bevel down here was easy. Got all that really easy and prominent. Still working up here on the top. You can see that there's a load, but the load is floating, which is good. It doesn't feel like it's stopped cutting. Where it's, you know, it's a micro bevel, so I don't want to misrepresent the stone. The bevel feels a little bit more aggressive at the other part of the edge, so I'm trying to make sure that the bevel feels even. Again, so much more aggressive down here. So then is it that it may be loaded up from some of the early swipes on the blade? But there we are. Okay, definitely feel it now. So turning over, let's put a little water on and see what happens. We've got the slurry, it's very evident. So I would tell you that even though it's considered the coarse of the stone, obviously we're used to some of these synthetic being much coarser. You don't need it overly aggressive. You don't want to wear your knife away so fast that you ruin the life of the knife. I think some of the texture on the stones feels very natural, like maybe irregular. Like, you know, it being that it's a natural stone, it's not truly. Okay, so definitely feels, you know, normally you're flipping a burr over and you would feel it kind of fat. I'm not feeling it. So then that makes me wonder, like, is it loading?
Right. So what would we do?
Well, normally we would probably take like the rust eraser.
Right.
And trying to loosen it. I don't want to do that yet. I want to give the stone the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I just didn't know if the protocol was different because of it being a natural stone.
I mean, if there is load, we need to clean it. So we can reach in here and find a rust eraser. Let's see if we can, my wife can film this. We'll kind of move some of the particles to see if we're okay. So this is my first time using this.
Sounds more.
So more like there's some sand at the beach, like it's a little cutting a little bit more.
Yes. Mic down. Sorry for weird sound.
So let's do a check.
Do you notice the difference now?
Like it felt very aggressive on the first side. That really quick got an edge, so I'm working a little bit harder on this side. So even with us wiping it down to make sure that the load is free, using the water, because he said the water would keep the stone the coarsest. If we use the oil, it would probably feel slicker.
Yeah. Less grip, less
Make
bite.
sure you're not too close to this edge. This knife sticks out. So I want to say it's micro. I think one of the problems is I'm a little bit spoiled. I'm used to like a slightly more aggressive burr. So it feels there, but at a very micro-esque. So let's do this. Let's use the other coarse stone. So I need to loosen this, because I said it was hard to tell the difference between the two. Let's see how far we got to go. We got to go. This stone is much longer. Need a little bit more. Let's secure it. And again, we're going to just use water as the lubricant. I'm going to get you to back up just a touch. I don't think the sound is as aggressive as the other one sounded. But again, fresh. Haven't used it, so there is no load. So you're probably thinking, like, so what's up? I mean, if you felt like a micro burr, wouldn't he be done? I think I'm just trying to make sure I have it, because, like, let's say I don't have it and I move on and do all the work, then I might misrepresent the stone. Like, I can feel it here, which is what I want to feel. So what I feel here is what I want to feel up here. So I need a little bit more up here. So I want it even. So if you're new to sharpening knives, obviously I want the tip of the knife to cut as much as the bottom. I can feel that there's a burr. Use all of the stone. Now, we made this knife pretty dull, I will say. So this isn't like we're just honing the knife. We made a blunt edge, and we're having to reshape this. Okay, that's what we wanted. Okay. So what we're going to do is, per our tradition, is we're going to wipe off any particles that we have gotten from this stone. We don't want to carry it over. So these two stones, we used water. I do not want to get this this lubricant.
Now.
Well, I'll worry about that. I'll just move this and everything. But we're going to be finishing the edge. Okay, so we're not really sharpening anymore. We're removing the excess metal. Maybe the early stone is still sharpening a little bit, but we've made a new apex. That's why we needed the coarse. So we've removed metal. Now we need to get the extra material off the edge. So let's go ahead and reveal this. So, in case my wife didn't show you on the very first one, the lid, it says soft.
Oh, well, I didn't show that part.
So it says the word soft, arc, but the word medium is in parentheses. So obviously went from coarse to medium. We're then going to go to the hard, which is considered fine. So we're really getting smoother. After fine is extra fine, which is the translucent stone. And my wife and I just talking about it, even though this next one is ultra, which means it's the finest, this is the surgical.
We think so.
We don't know if there's a difference between the translucent and the surgical. We're going to go through them. Almost feel like you could go either or, like it's maybe overkill to have both. We have them, so we're going to use them. So these came with its own, cut rubber mat in there as well. You could have easily just put this down on the counter and used it as the stone holder. I like a little knuckle clearance. Okay. So this is Gunny Shines. This is a Gunny Scott Gunn product, the Gunny Juice company. We'll have links on the website. So I am looking to refine this edge, and you can hear that it's just glassy. So the Gunny Shines product is a lot of times used to clean whetstones, but it has properties in it that can help make this lubricant. Scott said it will definitely help to prevent any metal from loading in the stone. So the particles being released from the knife should float and be suspended in the liquid, which is typically why a person uses mineral oil or any of the other, like kerosene, any of the other lubricants that are topical. You can see that it's still floating, the liquid is still there, the stone has not absorbed it. I'm coming your way with the point, so I don't want to make sure I don't hurt you. That's like real 3D for you guys who are watching at home. So it's like, am I polishing the edge? I feel like I'm polishing the edge. There's some strokes that were happening that make me feel like, you know, some metal is coming off.
Yeah, there's a little tiny grit sound.
Yeah. It is definitely different to sharpen a knife on something that is lubricated with something other than water. This isn't as oily as oil, but it's a little slicker than water. And the problem I think is, I mean, I'm getting a little bit of a micro burr, but I think one of the problems is when you get into stuff that's this slick, you know, it's not aggressive. You're kind of polishing. You're kind of doing, just do so many passes. Again, you're cleaning the apex on the side. And honestly, you could finish this knife on any of these stones. You don't actually have to use all of these stones. Like, I could probably use just this stone and say that the knife sharpening is over. So on a
I was
microscope.
just looking at what you could see, this right here on the stone itself.
Yep, little something.
Uh-huh.
So obviously something's cutting because you can tell that the stone's getting dirty.
That's what I was checking out. How does it feel?
So again, it's not aggressive because it's such a polishing.
Yeah.
I think you have to trust it a little bit as well. So let's put a little more to make sure all this is free. So if you were using like a 6K, 8K, 10K, all the other stuff, you know, you're polishing the edge. You really shouldn't feel cutting. And I think that's where I'm at with this, is like I don't really feel cutting. I feel like I'm finishing the edge. Now, people can argue all day, like how toothy and fine should the edge be. A lot of that has to do with what the knife is used for. For a lot of sharpeners, feeling a burr is the feedback that says you've done something. And I think when you're using such a hard stone, if you're pushing so hard that you're getting a burr, like, is that a good thing? It's what we use as a barometer. But at the same time, I mean, it shouldn't be cutting. My watch thinks I'm working out, so...
Want me to do that?
I'm doing this with my fingers wide.
I know, I'm just
Touching the side of it. So there's a little bit of trust on my part because, again, it's a polish. So let's go right there.
I just don't want it on the camera.
So you guys at home always say, you know, let's do this. How does your wife
Here.
like do all that? So
There
we'll.
you go. There's some paper towels to make me feel better if you want to put them up here.
So we're moving over here to the finer one.
Water.
Oh,
Boo boo.
well, luckily that'll actually come off, but that was habit. So things not to do.
I'll move the water.
Yeah, but we're going to actually do a little trick Scott Gunn taught us. This is a magic eraser. This is your store-bought product. Maybe my wife knows the name of the person who makes the
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean magic
I know
eraser.
there's off-brands too. I'm guessing they work well. That was just the one we had in the house, and apparently I probably need to buy more. I think we're out.
So I don't really know how much of a slurry or any stuff should be like when you're polishing. Again, all of these feel like glass. But we are seeing something floating in there.
So it must be doing something.
Must be doing something, she said. It is nice to see that visual feedback.
Now we can actually see the visual. It's hard with the knife in the hand blocking it, you know?
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's what I was getting at when you moved away.
your fingers, because of the lubricant, can feel like it's hard to hold them in place on the knife.
I was gonna say they're sliding more, right?
Yeah. So it's very odd to me, the feeling of the lubricant between keeping my fingers where they need to be on the blade and how the knife feels sliding across the Arkansas stone. Now, the group of people in the Arkansas Stone forum on Facebook is a very tight-knit group. They very much support each other. They share a lot of knowledge. I think it's always something very passionate about using something that's from the earth. I feel that way about Japanese natural stones. So, and it is nice when I think of these as finishers. Okay. So once again,
Ooh, careful.
Yeah.
Gentler, please. Messing up your edge, man.
so you guys don't have to worry about all your comments and stuff. I got a critic at home too, you know, so she will handle it for you. So this is what they call translucent, and I don't have the ability, you know what?
What you want?
I don't have the ability really right now with a flashlight or anything to show you, but if you shine a light through this, the light will actually shine
you go
through
get
it.
one?
Do you have a flashlight, Michelle?
Yeah, I can go get one.
There you go. So we will put a light through this and show you that light actually does travel through the stone. We walk our dogs at night and in the morning at the crack of dawn with the flashlight, so my wife is off to get that flashlight for us. Come on over in front of the camera, honey. They want to see what a hard-working woman looks like.
We aren't even talking about it.
My wife is like, no, she does not look suitable for the internet.
I'd end up on, well, I can't say that, but like the people of a certain place.
Do you see it?
Ooh.
Is it there?
Yeah, ooh, ah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So
It's
it
like
so
yellow
it is truly
Whoa, jeez.
Like,
help
so
me.
nothing, right? Nothing?
Yes, if you blind me again, I'm gonna hurt you.
Something, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yellow light.
There you go.
Ooh.
Oohs and ahs. Here comes the dog that loves flashlights. He's like, what's going on in there?
He's like the cat that wants to chase the light. Except he's the puppy dog that wants to chase the light. Hey, buddy.
So let's use the right stuff. So we've got some gunny shines. Again, we'll link you to Scott Gunn's website. It is not on his website currently. They need to update.
Per his words.
Per his words, we spoke earlier. So you got to think again in polishing the edge, right? I'm taking the scratch marks out of the side of the knife. So I don't really know that you're going to try to move the knife in a way that you're trying to get a burr. You're thinking like I'm polishing the edge. And I can feel the lubricant. You might not be able to see the lubricant.
But I do think I can just kind of tell you're having it's definitely different for you with your fingers, because you normally you're able to just put them somewhere and keep them there, but they're probably moving a little bit because of the lubricant.
I think the other thing would be, I mean, the stone should be consistent all the way down. It feels like it'd be consistent.
But I don't know, it's natural. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's made by nature through time, pressure. Starting to see a little bit of
I just noticed it. I don't know if the camera will pick up that little bit.
So the fingers just like slide a little bit, and you're pushing, so you don't want to slip and cut yourself. Don't want to spill that. So
I can hear it, yeah.
yeah, I was like,
Suddenly you just
felt
hear
a
it
little grippy maybe.
just on that when you switch sides.
But it's on the fingers,
Yeah.
I almost wish there was like some type of, like something with more grip to put there on the knife so my fingers don't slide. That was helpful what I just did. So now let's do some edge leading strokes.
Do you want to do that on that or on the other one?
Well, I mean, this one's,
Already
yeah,
said you're going to use both, so.
we're going to use them all.
Yeah, that's what I'm at. So do you feel like that's just something to get used to? The fact
Yeah,
that-
I mean, it's just, I think if you didn't know any better, maybe you're just already used to it. But the fingers do slide a little bit. All right, so we're over here. This is the Ultra, okay?
Surgical something.
Surgical.
Surgical
black. Nothing can be finer. And it is black. So since I'm going to put these fingers on top, I'm going to use this to, so you can see that on top. Sounds good. So again, we should be just polishing the edges here. We're not really sharpening at this point. Edge leading strokes. Just has a nice glassy sound. You can see the lubricant.
Well, I mean, I can. I don't know that they can.
Coming up on the blade. Very hard, very slick. Even if I were to use my synthetic stones as the bevel setter, I could still finish everything on these as like an 8K, 9K, 10K, 12K. Okay. So, with that being said, we still need burr removal. We still need burr removal. Okay. And we always wipe our knife down before we go to the leather.
But now that you've had that product on it, we don't want that on the leather at all.
Pinch the towel. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's what you got. I mean, I'm
saying, should we soap and water? I'm asking.
Well, then you have to be careful about, like, are you using a brush to soap and water, or are you just, you know, I'm using a towel. I mean, I'm
Okay.
you know, that's what I got. I mean, I literally lay that on there on both sides, and there you go. So underneath here, I hope I'm not messing up my microphone, but underneath here we have all those different goodies and supplies and stuff. Wow, I can't find my kangaroo that I normally see under here all the time. Is it in the wrong place? Mm-hmm. That was my fault.
I'm just more worried about using it.
What is that?
Just concerned if there were any residue. That's all.
I'm not.
Okay.
So we have a kangaroo. These are not aggressive strokes.
Right down.
That was the coarse side. Just, you know, letting the coarseness of the leather do any removal.
Sorry for the sound.
It's okay. That was a nice push. Obviously pushing is important. This is the original page. Actually kind of thicker than the normal pages that we use.
Yeah.
You can tell at first that there's a little like edge. It's starting to get cleaner like the more I cut. So I think that's a little bit more in the burr removal stage. Whoa. In case you guys can't tell, this cabinet that I hook it to, hopefully you have something more secure. So I am Putting it at the angle that I sharpened it. So if there are particles on the edge of the blade, they will mushroom and spill over. And I could tell as I cut, the knife was sharp, but it was getting sharper the more I cut things. So like the particles were starting to remove. So it's a lot more aggressive sounding than I'm used to.
I think that's
But
the size of the thickness of the blade.
Nope, super blue steel. No, we're not gonna like blame other stuff. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. Say like, listen how much quieter that suddenly got.
Yeah.
So that is burr removal. I mean, it went from loud.
Yeah, but now you're a thinner piece of paper. You had thicker paper.
But I'm just saying, like,
Watch your fan. Oh my God.
as the burr is getting removed, like, listen to how quiet that got down here. Like, it suddenly got a lot quieter. That is the burr removal itself. Okay, so the stones did their part. And now, listen, I'm just going to let you guys know. I only did it on the kangaroo tail. I don't need diamond emulsion. You can get a better edge. If I had something like this that's really slick. All right, we have our friend Hans who had sent this to us. But I don't need this to replace the stone. The stone did its job and it made the apex. Obviously, I still needed to remove the burr. And we would have different results with different types of steel. And yeah, those are definitely thicker.
Yeah, that one's the brand of the paper.
But you can definitely tell that the more. But we're not gonna, that's the thing is we're honest on the show and everything. So we got a sharp knife, but we got a little bit more aggressive sound. Now, what would some of our viewers say about the aggressive sound? Great for meat.
Honestly, we normally don't use that paper on purpose because it's so
What, this
much
one?
thicker. Yes. I don't know how that got in there, but we normally just use regular. Is that from the store? If that's from the store, that's usually thicker paper.
It's not. Feel it.
Okay.
Feel it. It is much thinner paper.
Okay, babe.
Let's not make excuses. Like down here at the top, you can tell. That just did amazing. So I'm catching little places. That could be me. Remember, I said that I was having trouble feeling the burr consistent,
Yeah,
and that can be inexperience on the stone.
Right. So I'm
But
saying.
please, what I'm trying to say is, you need a hell of a lot of practice. The people who are fans are fans. Okay, I'm never going to make an excuse for a product and try to sell you on something that I don't believe in. The first time we used this, okay, I did a sharpening for the Arkansas stone thing, had great success. The second time I used these, I had no success. You know what the problem was? The stones loaded up. Okay, I used everything with water. So the next time we went in with a different lubricant, had some success. The stones get cleaned every time, thorough, dry for days. Okay, so here we are today. The same knife has been used in every one of the sharpenings, always super blue, easy to sharpen. And right here, that is as clean as any knife we have ever sharpened ever. So the fact is that I can do that means that the stones can do the job. The fact that I have an inconsistent edge is either myself, and I can blame it on several things. I can blame it on, I had a hard time feeling on the stones the micro burr. And so it's going to take a lot of time to get acclimated. You can hear at the bottom.
That's what I was going to ask. Was these people who use them all the time, what Like if you're not sure whether the burr's there, where
I mean,
you
look
might
at
feel
look
it.
at that. Look
I
at
know.
that.
But did they have some tips or? Do they
No,
have
it's
some
going to take
ideas?
time.
Okay.
What's my opinion? Okay, my opinion. I mean, I hate to say it. I like a little bit more aggressive thing. I mean, I personally probably feel like I would go. I don't want to waste a lot of time. I might go a little bit more aggressive on a synthetic stone. This is going to take some time to get used to. I've used the stones for a while. I'm glad John Coe sent me these because there's no way
Yes.
I could have got an edge personally on the harder stones. So let's say you're into finishing, you're into that ultra fine edge. Definitely go with surgical black trail, all this sort of stuff. John Coe I've got his information. If you need a bevel setter, you've got to move away from these to what John's using. I think the prices are good. I think the prices are great. And if you like natural things and you like American made, I think it's all good. If you're used to synthetic stones, these are a lot less aggressive. So, you know, a lot of us have Japanese natural stones mixed in with our synthetics and stuff like that. You just got to get to what you're used to. I'm definitely going to use these again, and I'm going to use them on other steel. I'm more excited to see, like, how about something like powdered steel, SG2, something that's a little bit harder. Like, is it going to be harder to get an edge? You know, but as far as like the top half of this knife did great. So I think a lot of you would say, Greg, that's your technique. And I'm fine with you saying that. You guys know that you've seen me do amazing things. But I've got some spots on this blade that are inconsistent, and I don't normally have that problem. So you guys can take out of this like what you will. I'm not used to having those glitches. Okay? So I tell you what I'm going to do is on a separate day, I'm going to practice this again. I'll give you guys an update on, say, a reel. But you saw me do it from start to finish. You heard all my feedback. You make your own assumption. I hope this wasn't a dull moment. Semi-dull. Just kidding. I hope it wasn't a dull moment. We had fun using them. Again, I don't sell you on things that aren't the real deal. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to separately use this and lap the stones. I know they came in that way. I'm going to use this and lap the stones, do it again, and I'll post the feedback later. Appreciate you guys checking us out. As you know, that was definitely an honest review of the product. Okay, so we'll put the information for John's coarse stones. We'll put the information for those stones, but I'm also going to put Dan's website. Dan's Whetstones sells this type of stone, and he grades them, meaning different purveyors have different grades of these stones. So it might be that a different purveyor will give you a different quality because they're all natural stones. You get different results. Thank you for checking us out. I hope this was something different. Thank you for supporting us for the last 2.5 years. It's been a lot. God bless. Yeah, stop selling. You like wanted to be